You're back with another one. We got top 10 most badass My Hero Academia moments by VinnyTube. I love VinnyTube. I saw this on my recommended recommendations. I was like, "Ooh, I gotta watch this." Let's get right into it.
It's time to go plus ultra because the 5th season of My Hero Academia is currently on air. While we watch the exploits of our heroes and see what new direction the series heads off in, it sounds like just the time for a recap of the top 10 badass My Hero Academia moments. And MHA, as you know it, is full of badass
I'm not about to be out here waiting week to week for My Hero. Like, I'm done waiting. I'm just going, you know,
sequences. This anime now counts among the top shonen anime currently running. There's a lot to like, especially the tournament-style arcs and rivalries among characters. Heck, if you're old enough, watching it might just make you pine for those old school days. Given that this is a battle shonen, our pick of badass moments mostly comprises epic battles and one-on-one fights, but you might be surprised to find more than a few emotional moments that leave a deep impact on the overall storyline. So let's get right to it. Here are the top 10 badass My Hero Academia moments.
But you know what I really hope happens? I hope they have a sports festival with all the students, like all the students, not just like, you know, year ones and then year twos. No, I want all the students. I want to see Sun Eater versus Deku in a tournament. I need to see that. Not Lemillion. My man. No, my man.
It's
my
Red Riot
real
and Fat Gum versus Rappa and Dengai. This is one of the best fights of Season 4, and that's saying something for a battle-heavy arc. What makes this contest fantastic is not just the action and music, but a backstory that turns a likable character into everyone's best boy. Backed into a corner, Kirishima's old doubts about his worth as a pro hero and his quirks start to haunt him again, leaving him unable to fight even before the battle started. But old wounds also bring clarity about why he wanted to be a hero in the first place and how hard he struggled to become one. Burning with a new intensity, Kirishima transforms into Red Riot Unbreakable, becoming an indestructible shield for his partner Fat Gum and turning defeat into victory. It's the greatest hour yet for this brave and loyal young hero.
Imagine if that didn't break the shield. He'd be like, oh, well, fuck. What do we do now? Get up, like holding him in it. Get up, we need to run, get up. You know, ain't got no damn chance. That's kind of crazy.
At number 9, we have Aizawa Sensei. Despite his lazy appearance and general air of disinterest, the homeroom teacher is more than adept at taking on an entire gang of enemies by himself, as we see when the League of Villains attacks UA High School. Aizawa's ability to cancel his opponent's quirks simply by looking at them is a powerful weapon, but it's his prowess at physical combat that comes as a surprise. He might seem to lack the energy to utter even a few words of encouragement to his class, but he can easily leap off heights, sucker punch opponents much bigger than him, tie them up with his scarf, and keep the attacks coming. His ability to tolerate extreme pain is impressive, as is his keen intellect, which allows him to plan his moves even when in full flight. He might look and sound like a slouch, but this is one guy you know you can count on if you ever find yourself in a pinch.
I get straight up Kakashi vibes with him, like, just straight up. Without the dark backstory. And he just, you know, he's just that way. That's his personality. Nothing turned him that way.
One is an arrogant,
Come on, dog. Don't overthink it.
delinquent, the other a timid, polite, intelligent dreamer. Chalk and Cheese, they're the series' great rivals. The competition between the two goes back to their childhood and has only intensified with adolescence. Of all of their confrontations, the most memorable perhaps is when Bakugo challenges Deku to a late-night fight in Season 3. Honesty hits harder than anything else, and that's what this contest shows us. For the first time, Bakugo shows Deku and us his true feelings, his jealousy towards him, his admiration of and regret towards All Might. It's also the first time we see him treat Deku as an equal. Instead of lashing out in anger or walking off in a huff as he usually does, Bakugo bares his heart and soul, and Deku responds with empathy and honesty. Emotionally charged it might be, but this fight also has some great action. It perfectly captures why these two polar opposites bring so much to the series.
Bakugo with the willpower. he not gonna take nothing lying down. He not losing for nothing.
Another emotional moment makes the cut at number 7.
That's my main character right there. Watch this episode. I was like, Lemillion, Lemillion. I was cheering for this man. I was, oh!
In the hero's fight against Overhaul,
Look at that
in the
use of
4th
his
season,
power.
Mirio
Oh my
demonstrates
gosh.
why he might have become a worthy successor to All Might had Deku not come along. Showing excellent mastery of his quirk, permeation, and incredible hand-to-hand combat abilities, Mirio proves more than capable of taking on the overpowered villain. The two put on a brilliant show of skills that surely would have deserved a spot on this list had it not been for what comes after, which makes even more of an impact. Even as he's winning his battle against Overhaul, Mirio chooses to take a quirk-erasing bullet meant for Eri and save the little girl, losing his quirk in the process. It's a devastating loss, and yet he faces up to it with a good-natured smile.
And he's
promising
still
Eri
beating
he'll
their
be her
ass,
hero
bro.
forever. Just goes to
Oh
show
my
that being
gosh.
a hero isn't only about having heavenly abilities, and that a badass moment can have you sobbing into your tissues.
And like his ability really kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's making it work.
That brings us to the Deku Overhaul fight that follows right after, which takes the number 6 spot.
And what I
Given
mean
that
is
this
trash,
the
I mean, like,
climactic
it's
fight of
trash for
season
him
4,
if
we
he
get to
didn't
see
know how to
Deku
use
at
it.
his most
That's a good ass
powerful, using
quirk,
one
but,
for all
like,
at full power, and he does so without sustaining
anyone
any
else
damage
that's
to his body,
trash.
thanks to Eri finally gathering the courage to use her unique quirk. Check out any online forum, and the fight with Overhaul is bound to rank high on all-time great MHA fights. It's also one of Deku's best fights ever. Throughout the
so
series,
cool.
we're used to seeing the boy who was born quirkless struggle, first with adapting to his new power, then with learning to use it, and then again with trying to gain some kind of mastery of it. His exploits against Overhaul give us a glimpse of just what he might accomplish in the future as All Might's chosen heir and the next symbol of peace. It's an epic battle, and it's the most badass Deku has ever been.
He put so much fear into this man's heart. He looked up, he was like, oh shit, like he so much fear.
Now, just like the My Hero
You know
Academia
what the hell's
world,
going on.
the internet's filled with villains with lots of hacking, scams, and greedy corpos.
Poor Chiziki, bro. Chiziki went through the best hero that they had at the time. Because, you know, he wasn't on the radar of Endeavor, and All Might, you know, retired at that point. So, but Chiziki he faced the best hero in Lemillion, and then got beat by Deku. Deku with help.
Saying no to fun
I
with
can't.
the
Deku not my
dreaded
main
You've
character,
got to arm
bro.
yourself and
It's
keep up with the
Lemillion.
times. And our sponsor,
Or Bakugo.
ExpressVPN,
Anybody
is
but
here to be
Deku
your
right now.
Swiss Army knife in
You
the
gotta earn it
treacherous
back.
sea that is the internet. With
What's the
ExpressVPN's
ad?
amazing service,
Hey, get your
you
money.
can connect to so many different proxy
Go ahead, get your
servers from
money.
all
But
over
they're not
the
paying
world.
me.
Free 3-month
They're not
service.
paying me, so
Or
go ahead,
to
get your money.
expressvpn.com/
I didn't even think about this because it really was just a one-sided stomp, and then he reversed it into another one-sided stomp. Like, I didn't even really think it was a fight like that.
It's another Deku moment at the halfway mark. This time, it's his battle against that big chunk of meat and muscle that is Muscular. This villain lives
He's
up
such
to
a
his
cool
name with his
villain,
ability
bro.
to
They
manipulate
wasted.
his muscles to augment his physicality
wasted.
and strength
In this
to
situation?
superhuman levels. Although a minor antagonist, he's by far one of the strongest members of the League of Villains in terms of physical strength. What's more, he has a nasty disposition even for a villain, showing pleasure in killing for the sake of killing. Even children are fair game too. In a situation where Deku not only has to fight him but keep the young Gotha safe from him, it seems like the worst possible matchup, and it goes along predictable lines with Muscular toying with Deku. Pushed to bone-shattering limits, Deku's all about out for the count, but heroes don't die so easy, and a tiny moment of inspiration gives him that little extra push. Seeing Deku find extra reserves of strength where they ought to be none is truly breathtaking and badass.
You gonna drop the title like that? You gonna do that? Alright, okay, it's cool.
No My Hero Academia top 10 video.
Oh my
would be
gosh, that
complete without
trash-ass
our main man,
outfit that he
Almighty
had
in
at
action.
first.
His battle against Nomu during the school
Like, what
infiltration
was
arc in
that?
the first season comes in at number 4.
Especially because he had the half headpiece too. Like, nah, bro, that was garbage. What was he thinking? Why did he put that on? He should have saw that shit. Like, you know what? This was a
Though
bad idea.
artificially
Just
created,
stayed in his
Nomu is still a
workout
top-tier
gear.
villain, engineered to counter the #1 pro hero at 100%. And All Might, at that time, is a shadow of his former self. But like I said before,
Bakugo
power
and
isn't all there is to
Hiroshima
being a
had
hero.
that from
Going
rip.
that extra
They
distance
fist
comes
was clean.
naturally to them, as All Might demonstrates with his hard-fought but confident victory over Nomu. Moving at lightning speed and hitting him with a barrage of punches, All Might gives the monster no time to regenerate. What makes this moment badass is that it introduces us to the #1 hero and symbol of peace as a warrior. All Might shows us why he's a legend and the hope of an entire generation, even if he's nowhere near his best. It's also a moment that makes it clear that the time to pass on the torch and give the world a new hero is near.
I'm surprised. This isn't #1. This is the.
With his
I don't want to say the
striking
best.
hair,
This is
celebrated
my
lineage,
favorite
pure
fight
talent, and
because that
difficult
Stain fight was
backstory, there was
that
never
had
any
me
doubt that
on my
Todoroki
edge of my
would be
seat.
a fan favorite. He gets his most memorable moment perhaps in the Sports Festival arc when
I
his
was in
fight
chills,
against Deku
bro.
leads him to unleash his fiery
That's
side.
definitely
Till
got
that
me #1
tournament,
then, actually,
Todoroki
when I
had
think
never
about it.
used his firepower out of resentment towards his father, choosing to rely solely on his ice abilities. But he's convinced to accept his left side by Deku and the strange connection he feels with him. This is a contest brimming with newfound rivalry and friendship,
Like, bro, you see all that fire?
envy,
What's she about to
and
do?
mutual respect. It pushes the
See all
reserved
that
cool
fire?
kid to passionately reveal his innermost feelings to everyone's surprise, including his own. It's exhilarating
Yeah,
to
he
see
can
the
stop
flames
it.
burst
She
out
was
for
not
the very
doing
first
nothing.
time. This moment manages not only to be totally
You'll burn up
badass,
your mist.
but also convey some of the best growth stories in anime. The developments are also a testament to Deku's inspiring personality.
That's almost as bad as Kurenai trying to use Genjutsu on Itachi. Yeah, I better stop this. Fire going everywhere. Everyone's looking at her like, you dumb motherfucker. Like, bro. This was a way to go
Son
out
to father,
of
taking
the
the
season,
second
bro.
spot is
This is a way to
Endeavor
go
earning
out.
his stripes as the new #1 pro hero, as well as the grudging admiration of MHA fans. To quite a few, the highlight of Season 4 is the battle between Endeavor and Hood, with the Winged Hawks playing sidekick to the fire-powered hero. A lot of fans dislike Endeavor, and for good reason too. He's been a terrible father to Todoroki and a first-class jerk to everyone else. But this battle
He's
puts
trying.
him in a new light. Giving it his all to save his colleagues and the people from Hood, and upgraded and extremely dangerous Nomu, Endeavor proves to a skeptical world that he might not be All Might, but is a worthy replacement that they can count on. The clash is brutal, emotional, and epic. While he manages to eventually overpower his opponent with his quirk, Prominence Burn, he ends up sustaining heavy damage. Making this moment even more important is the fact that it's a critical milestone in the series, making not only the beginning of an era without All Might, but also, quite possibly, Endeavor's path to redemption.
Like, Endeavor not a nice guy at all. That's not his personality. Like I would trust him with #1 hero status because he's strong as hell. You see that? If I was a person, wait. Am I tripping? Did I like daydream or talk right past Stain or something? I must have, because that Stain fight was... I must have. There's the ad. There, like, I must have. Because if that's missing, I am disappointed. Severely disappointed. Because this fight, the Deku versus
Fights. It's also
Overhaul
one
right
of
here,
Deku's best fights ever.
I ain't enjoy as much as Lemillion, because Lemillion had
To
me
become a worthy
in
successor to
tears,
All Might,
bro. Had me in tears. I don't even remember what I was about to say. Oh, if I was in the world of My Hero, I would definitely trust Endeavor, because like I don't know what's going on in the background or nothing, but I know All Might's gone. I see that fight. I'm like, oh yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah, that's the man right there. I don't give a damn if he a jerk. Like, I'm not gonna interact with him.
Now that brings us to the most badass moment
Oh
in
yeah,
My
but this
Hero
gotta be on the list.
Academia.
Ooh.
It happens during the legendary clash between All Might and All for One, the battle between the world's greatest hero and its greatest villain. When All for One, the shadowy figure pulling the strings of the League of Villains, finally goes up against All Might, his true intention might have been to destroy his longtime rival, but instead, he ends up pushing All Might beyond his limits. Desperate to do his duty, the #1 hero musters every last bit of strength he has left in him to bring out his most powerful attack yet, the United States of Smash. All for One is soundly defeated, but this victory can only be called a tragedy. No longer able to carry on the world's symbol of peace and with his true self no longer a secret, All Might hangs up his hero's cape forever. But even in that final moment, when he reverts to his real weakened form, All Might remains a symbol of courage and hope to his fans and admirers.
This had me in shivers too. I'm not gonna lie. I was shivering. I was like, United States of
And then-
Smash. I must have, I must have just been like, oh yeah, this has to be on the list. So I just didn't even pay attention to it. The Stain, I had to. I had that must have been it because there's no way they didn't put it on the list. I can't find it here, but it has to be somewhere. I remember them mentioning Stain, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Stain. That's a go-to. That's a guarantee. But before I end this, let me know in the comment what matchup you would want to see in a tournament style fight. But the only caveat is they have to be students. They have to. It can't be like All Might versus Bakugo, because it's like that's unfair as hell. It can't be Chiziki versus, and like don't do none of that. Just students. It could be from any of the high schools, but it just has to be a student. Because I already said I want to see Sun Eater versus Deku. That would be fire. That'd be great. Like I want to know what you guys think would be a good matchup. All right. Make sure you guys like the video, like the video, sub, and I'm out. Peace.